We're here with Jim Tyson from Tyson's, locally based company here. How's it going, Jim?
Very good, thank you.
We're going to ask some questions for Probably Accessible Dubuque. At what point in business did you contact Probably Accessible Dubuque? Was your building already established, or did they consult you building, getting ready for a new one?
No, this was a, we didn't always have electrically operated doors, but in getting to know Probably Accessible Dubuque and being interested in how we can demographic.
At what point of your business did you contact Proudly Accessible Dubuque? And was your building already established, or did you consult them as you were building it or getting ready to open?
Well, actually, they contacted us, and our building was already up, and they informed us about this new venture, this new venue. And we embraced it right away. We saw the merit in this, and we invited them out, and they made some suggestions of some things that we could do to be a little more accessible. Thankfully, we were just about there. So we didn't have too far to go, but they had some really good ideas for us.
I was surprised that I was able to reach out to an organization and getting an inspection of my property to tell us that we're in compliance and these are good things we're doing. Here's some suggestions. Put me in touch with the city's liaison, and all this was at a free. It was free, and I was really surprised at that. And now, I even asked at the time, what is this? Is there a monthly fee to be involved? And
right.
No. Well, now I understand that they've moved in that direction. It needs the support. So for a business owner, it's a very little expense for the type of resources that I think people don't react to ADA regulations and accessibility regulations because they don't know that they exist, or they wait until they're told they have to do it.
Can you tell us a little about your exchange with Probably Accessible Dubuque and the resources they provided?
Well, they provided the model, or they would talk to us what their needs were, and just kind of give us an outline how to do it easier and the best for them. And then they also make clear to the community that who has handicap accessibility.
Would you be able to say what kind of increase in business you have experienced since becoming more accessible?
Well, you don't have to be a math major to figure out that if you had 100 people out there and 95 of them could get in, but 5 couldn't, that your premises were accessible, and now you're accessible to everybody. It just opens up a whole new world of opportunity, not only for you but also for the consumer. The consumer wants to go where they where they feel welcome and where they know that they can get in and do their shopping.
You just joined the board of directors for Probably Accessible Dubuque, correct? So and you just started that, right, a few months ago, or?
Correct. Yep.
So what have your interactions or services been on the board so far?
Well, I think for me, with the Probably Accessible Dubuque, when I was asked to be on the board, it was an easy decision. But for years, I've used the Probably Accessible Dubuque as a resource, and I understand that,
Because Proudly Accessible Dubuque is a business advocate, would you share as a business owner, what is the benefit as you see in your business to be accessible?
Well, strictly speaking, inclusivity. That we invite people into our stores and our retail venues. We use marketing to let people know that the doors are open and all are welcome. And sometimes as retailers, we don't even stop and think that if it isn't totally accessible, and as to use that phrase, proudly accessible, that we're eliminating some people, not intentionally, but here we are, we're throwing out the welcome mat, and yet it just isn't easy for everybody to get around sometimes. So that's worked very well. It's been a great program.
Awesome.
Because Proudly Accessible Dubuque as a business advocate. Would you share as a business owner what's the benefit you saw for your business?
Well, I would say that probably the biggest thing is handicap accessibility and how easy it is to become a handicapped accessible. Because a lot of times it's just maybe an electrifying one of your own doors that can be converted or put a new set of doors in. Because as time gets, old, when your frame gets shot and things start to fall apart, it's easier to put it in the right way rather than put it in the old way.
If I can be a business advocate and promote what our business is getting out of it, I hope others will join, because it's a great resource, and these things aren't going to go away. Either is accessibility.
Yeah.
We need to be open, and we need to be open, and we need to be accessible.
Okay.
What would you say overall about your experience with Proudly Accessible Dubuque, and would you recommend other businesses contacting them?
Very definitely, because they're a partner rather than a threat. They're there to help you, rather than make you do a lot of stuff that you don't want to do.
Jim, I understand you're also a volunteer. How long have you been volunteering with Proudly Accessible Dubuque?
Well, I probably say for sure that I've talked to them every year for at least the last 8 years since Christina first started it.
What are your actual interactions been with them as a volunteer?
Counseling them, finding out what their better ideas are, meeting with them in a non-threatening way. We are partners, because rather than a customer, they're partners. And we fully support them financially as well as the advocate.
Anything else you'd like to say to business owners or
No, I think they
or-
really need to open up, and the costs that are associated are very minimal to what, and I'm not even gonna say that the costs are minimal versus a fine or some regulation, because that's not what they're about really. They're about the helping you.
Yeah.
They're about helping the business owner, because accessibility is not gonna go away. And it's not about just people in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And even myself, I'm sitting here as a good example that there's things that you can do. I'll share a couple stories on resources, service.
What would you say about your experience with Proudly Accessible Dubuque to businesses considering contacting them?
I would tell anybody that is contacted by Proudly Accessible Dubuque that it'll be one of the best things that can ever happen to your company, because again, you've got a group that will consult with you, that will work with you, and this isn't about compliance. This is about genuinely welcoming people into your establishments, and it's a win-win all the way around.
Awesome. Well, that's all we have to ask you, so thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.